as long as there's no bad behavior involved.
Never unless required.
Where's your Dutchman?
Safe in Holland, as far as I know.
And have you any appointments for this evening?
Few friends for dinner.
And after dinner?
Nothing firm.
Then I think I shall call round on you later.
I'll be there.
My dear, this is an unexpected pleasure.
Evidently.
Take no notice of Emily. She's notoriously eccentric.
I know that woman.
Do you? I'd be surprised.
She's been pointed out to me at the opera.
Ah, yes, she is quite striking. And what's the matter?
She's a courtesan, isn't she?
I suppose in a manner so... What's got into you?
Please let me go.
No, I can't. This is absurd.
I'm sorry I've disturbed you.
You haven't disturbed me in the slightest. Of course I'm overjoyed to see you.
Let me go.
No. Have a glass of champagne.
No.
Let's sit down calmly, shall we?
And you will never be received at my house again.
Now listen. Just hear me out, that's all I ask, and then you may judge.
I don't want your lies and excuses.
Unfortunately, I cannot unlive the years I lived before I met you. And during that time, I had a wide range of acquaintances, the majority of which were undesirable in one aspect or another. Now it may surprise you to learn that Emily, in common with many others of her profession, is kind-hearted enough to take an interest in those less fortunate than herself. That is to say, she has the free time and inclination to do a good bit of charity work. Donations to hospitals, soup for the poor, protection for animals, anything which touches her sentimental heart. From time to time, I make small contributions to her purse. That is all.
Is that true?
My relations with Emily have for some years now been quite blameless. She's even done a little secretarial work for me on occasion. But since I know your feelings on the matter, I shall of course take steps to make sure she is never received here again.
Why did she laugh?
I've no idea. Malice, perhaps? Jealousy? Girls of that class are frighteningly unpredictable. I'm at a loss to explain it.
What does she know about me?
She must have made what, in light of my past, can be regarded as a fair assumption.
I'm sorry.
No, it's I who must apologize. Some relics of my old persona remain, and that was the thoughtless action of a man who had never met you. I didn't think it were possible for me to love you anymore, but your jealousy.
I love you so much.
Your porter appears to be under the impression that you were out of town this evening.
I have, in fact, only just returned.
Without attracting the attention of your porter, it may be time to review your domestic arrangements.
I'm exhausted from the journey. Naturally, I informed my porter to tell casual callers that I was out.
And you here too, my dear young friend. The porter seems to be having a most erratic evening.
Yes, well, I was here, yes.
In any case, I'm glad to have found you. I've been trying to contact you for some days.
Have you?
Mademoiselle Cecile returns to Paris after an absence of nearly 2 months. What do you suppose is uppermost in her mind? Answer, of course, the longed-for reunion with her beloved chevalier.
Vicomte, there's no time to make mischief.
Nothing could be further from my mind, madame.
Go on.
Imagine her distress when her beloved one's nowhere to be found. I've had to do more improvising than an Italian actor.
But how is she? Is she all right?
Oh, yes. Well, no, to be quite frank, she's been rather ill.
Ill?
Whether it was brought on by her anxieties, it's impossible to say. But it seems sometime last week they were obliged to send for the surgeon in the middle of the night, and for a while he had reason to be very concerned.
But this is terrible.
Calm yourself. She's been declared well on the road to recovery and is convalescing now.
Of course. My God, how could I have not been here at such a time?
Don't worry. Everything is all right with Cecile. I have it from the surgeon himself. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I shan't disturb you further. It's just that I had a letter, the contents of which I thought may be of interest to the Marquise.
I think perhaps I should spend a few minutes with the Vicomte on a private matter. Why don't you go upstairs? I shan't be long.
but I'm worried about Cecile.
I don't think there's anything to be done at this hour of the evening. You can send to inquire after her tomorrow.
Of course, whatever you say. I'm sorry, Vicomte.
Don't worry, dear boy. Everything is as it should be.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, she writes as badly as she dresses.
I think I'm right in saying that, in this instance, it's the content, not the style, which is essential. But perhaps there's another matter we should discuss first.
I hope you're not going to be difficult about dancing. It's a complete coincidence. His carriage arrived at my gates at the same moments as my own.
Really, my love, this is hardly worthy of you. Given the uncharacteristic mystery you made about the identity of your new lover, and yours and Dauncey's simultaneous disappearance from Paris, I would have to be a good deal stupider, even than you seem to assume I am, not to have reached the obvious conclusion. I imagine that if Dauncey and your carriage arrived at your gates at the same moment, the main reason was because he was in it.
You're quite right, of course.
Furthermore, I happen to know that this moment of which we speak occurred 2 days ago.
Your spies are efficient.
So much for my being the first to know. A lesser man might allow himself to get angry.
Such a man might compromise his ability to charm without necessarily enhancing his ability to persuade.
I must say, I'm not surprised you chose to be reticent about so manifestly unsuitable a lover. I mean, I know Bella Roche was pretty limp, but I think you could have found a better replacement than that mawkish schoolboy.
Mawkish or not, he's completely devoted to me, and I suspect better suited to provide me with happiness and pleasure than you in your present mood.
Is that so?
Is it really true the little one has been ill?
Not an illness, so much as a refurbishment.
What can you mean?
When Cecile and I returned to Paris, some money for the porter and a few flowers for his wife were enough to allow us to resume our nocturnal activities, which, incidentally, shows up Dauncey's initiative in very poor light. Don't you agree? Anyhow, the ease of it no doubt made us overconfident. And one night last week, as we were resting after our exertions, the door blew open. A most dreadful shock. Cecile threw herself from the bed and tried to jam herself between it and the wall. A sudden backache gave way to some unmistakable symptoms. After then, it was a real challenge, calling the surgeon round in the middle of the night without giving ourselves away.
But you evidently succeeded.
Can you imagine, my love? She was not even aware of being pregnant in the first place. She certainly doesn't devote any undue energy to thinking. What's the matter? Aren't you pleased?
I think you should make another attempt, don't you?
I rather thought the moment had come to pass her on to young Dauncey.
No, I don't think that would be at all advisable at the moment.
You don't?
If I thought you were going to be your old charming self, I might invite you to come visit me one evening next week.
Really?
I still love you see, in spite of all your faults and my complaints.
I'm touched. What else will you exact before honoring your obligations?
I have a friend who became involved, as sometimes happens, with an entirely unsuitable woman. Whenever any of us pointed this out to him, he invariably made the same feeble reply. It's beyond my control, he would say, at which point another friend of mine, a woman, decided to speak to him seriously, and most importantly drew his attention to this linguistic foil, of which he'd previously been unaware, and told him his name was in danger of becoming ludicrously associated with the phrase for the rest of his life. So you know what he did?
I feel sure you're about to tell me.
He went round to his mistress and bluntly announced he was leaving her. As you can expect, she protested vociferously, but to everything she said, to every objection she made, he merely replied, "It's beyond my control."
I must leave you to your lessons.
You're only 5 minutes late, but I get so frightened. I become convinced I'm never going to see you again.
My angel.
Is it like that for you?
Oh, yes. At the moment, for example, I'm